What up friends, Liron here, and today I want to try out something fun. As some of you who are following me know, I've been trying lately, just experimenting with a lot of different primary combinations and mixes, and I came across one that fascinated me, and I still don't really know how to utilize it that well, and it's really not even a proper primary combination, but I just think it's very fun and curious, and I did one painting with it that I will show you later on, and that combination is French ultramarine or ultramarine, burnt sienna, and yellow ochre, and it creates just a very interesting mix that I just want to explore a little more, because some of it neutralizes each other and some of it works very interestingly together. So I just want to go over some interesting mixes, especially with the yellow ochre, a color that has been fascinating me for the last few days, and we're just gonna look at it now. Again, a warning: it's not really a proper primary trio or something like this. It's just for fun and for experimentation and trying to get an even color scheme with just a limited number of colors. Okay, so let's get started. I've done a little preparation here. So here I'm gonna put the blue. Here I'm gonna put our red, and here we're gonna put our yellow. And I also have some areas for the green, for the orange, and for the purple. Okay, so I think it's gonna be really fun just to see what everything looks like. So we're gonna start with the blue here, which will be ultramarine. So I'm mixing some blue here in the palette, just preparing some of the ultramarine, not mixing it with anything else. Okay. And I'm just gonna lay it down here on its designated area. So we're gonna have the blue here, and just a beautiful, happy, vibrant, non-granulating blue. This one is by Schminke, and very standard, used in many different primary trios, I think. I'm using it so much. I'm sure it's the one paint I use more than anything else. Now we're gonna move on to the next one, which is the burnt sienna. This is why I jokingly said it's red, but it's not really red. It's a reddish brown, so it doesn't really fit the bill. And the thing is, and this is what fascinates me the most with this bizarre selection of colors, is that these two kind of neutralize each other, as we'll soon see. So it's just a very interesting combination of three colors to choose, because you just get less of the blues and browns or red, and more of the yellow, and also the yellow ochre is very dim together with the blue, so the greens are very muted. Just a very interesting combination, I think. So here we go. This is for the burnt sienna. Let's just put in some more of it here. Let's just go crazy, because this combination is crazy to begin with, you know. So anyway, now for the third one, which will be our yellow, is the yellow ochre. And this one is beautiful. Actually, yellow ochre works really well with the magenta. I see Peter Sheeler does it quite a lot, and some of you who are following me on Instagram and Snapchat may have seen I did a lot of his style or following his tutorials over the weekend, and he loves to combine the yellow ochre with other colors, with magenta and so on, and it's just a lovely color. So as you can see here, it's really an interesting mix, all of these three. You get a very, I love the way they look together, and I think if you're able to do a good job of not over mixing them, you can get some really beautiful results, because again, if you mix these two, they sort of negate each other, and just you get a gray. So what I want to do now is just do that. We're gonna let everything mix on paper. So I'm just gonna move it a bit here, and we're gonna work on that green space, okay? And what I want to do, sorry about that, I just want to work on that green space and let things mix freely on paper. So to do that, we're gonna take some of the yellow ochre here. I'm just gonna place a bit of it like that. Make it a little stronger. Now I'm just gonna place some of the ultramarine right next to it, like this. You see, it's a very interesting combo here. You get this sort of a dead green. And what I want to do now is now that we see it mixing on paper, let's do a little small swatch here of it mixed, pre-mixed on the palette. So I'm just going to take some more of the yellow ochre, make it a little stronger, and you can see it's already a bit contaminated by the blue. Now I'm going to grab some of the blue here, maybe a little more blue. And you can see those very dead, muted, beautiful greens that you can achieve. And you can vary it. You can go with a little more blue in there, or a little more yellow, which I find just a very fun process. And you can see this is sort of the scale of greens that you get by combining these two. It will be interesting to see in the end how these dry up. Again, if you want to go really dark, and this is one caveat to using this sort of combination, I found it quite challenging. So now I'm using almost pure mixes, barely any water in this one. And you can see it's not as dark as some colors can achieve. Of course, you can glaze it and achieve a little more darkness. So anyway, this is it for the green. Let's now focus a bit on the orange area. And we're gonna get a very interesting orange, let me just say that. So I'm gonna take a little bit of, I don't even remember what kind of orange it is. So we're gonna just put in some yellow ochre here. And then I'm gonna grab some of the burnt sienna. Let's let them, like we did earlier, let them mix on paper. So some of the burnt sienna and some of the yellow, and they're already a bit mixed. So you can see it's just, again, a very beautiful color. Now let's try just to mix them again on the palette. So just taking a bit of the yellow ochre, taking a bit of the... By the way, I love the fact that this palette has a ring under it, so I can put my finger through it and actually hold it like this. I'm just literally holding it right now. Now, because the burnt sienna is not really red, it's more of a brown, you can see that you get this sort of a gold orange. Really unsure what to call this one. But just again, a beautiful, special color, I think. If you take it more towards the yellow, you will get it to be a little bit of a brighter orange, maybe more similar to what you're used to see, like in the oranges that come pre-mixed, sometimes in beginners palettes or something like this. So just again, a very interesting combination here. Let's try and crank it up and make it just a little darker. So I'm gonna take some of the burnt sienna. I'm gonna mix it here on the side, because when you enter that mix, it already has a lot of water in it. So I just wanna keep it to this side and just try to get a very strong mix. And I'm gonna place it in here. And you see it is strong thanks to the burnt sienna mainly. Okay, so it can achieve some stronger values. And notice how these two actually look beautiful together. Let me show you here. You see, these two together I think work really well. Now here's the interesting part of this. So to mix the purples or magentas or violets, we need to use the blue and red. And this is going to be the interesting part, because the blue and red in this case completely neutralize each other almost perfectly. So I'm going to take some of the burnt sienna here, add some of the ultramarine, and let's just put it on paper and see what happens. And you can see it's just a gray. I'm gonna try adding a bit more blue just to one side of this thing here. Just a little more blue. And then I'm gonna try and add a little more of the burnt sienna pure, just gonna touch it here. Now the funny thing is, again, you get a gray, and this gray, because a lot of the time colors are relative. So if you see a very cool color, it can make another color look warm, but if you compare that warm color to an even warmer color, it can look cooler, okay? So it's all gradual. Now the interesting thing is, if you just look at this one, you can definitely tell it's graying out, and I will show you a more perfect gray or even almost black later on. But when compared to these, because these are three primaries, so our brain is sort of biased to take it as blue, red, and yellow. So compared to these two, this actually may look a bit purple to some. Okay, so it's just a very interesting things that's going on here. Now let me try and get a darker mix. I'm just adding some more of the ultramarine and some of the burnt sienna, and I think one of the advantages of this combination in general, regardless to this specific primary combination, is that it can achieve some very dark grays. Okay, which is something I love. I used to rely a lot on this combination, way too much when I just was starting out with watercolor, because I just found out that it does achieve a very beautiful muted grays and blacks. So I just used it anytime I needed something very dark. But the downside is that it is eventually gray, so you don't have a lot of colors. So let me now zoom in a bit so you can better see everything, and we'll just talk a bit about these interesting combinations. So now you should be able to better see what it looks like. These two already pretty much dried. This one is still wet. There's a puddle here. It's going to be a little lighter than it looks like now. And you can see just a beautiful, beautiful combination. I think if you're gonna use this as a mix, and I got this idea actually from a comment here on the channel that said, someone commented that they love to try out some weird combinations, and I was like, let's try that too. It's very interesting, especially with the burnt sienna as a primer. It's so weird. So anyway, the cool thing is that if you kind of are careful with the graying out here, and you just focus on these ones, you can get beautiful earth tones and colors to use for fields or crops or natural landscapes. If you keep it here and it's very warm, you can see the yellow ochre is warm, the burnt sienna is warm, the blue even is warm, you know, that's why the green is warm. So the ultramarine veers more towards the red. So it's all biased towards the warm, and I think this can produce some very lovely combinations as long as you are careful with the muted ones. Okay, so you can use these for the extra darks, but kind of keep it a very warm scale and use like what some artists call a mother color that dominates the entire scene. So for example, it could be the yellow in this example, just because it looks fantastic. So yeah, this is it. Just wanted to show you this combination. Now let me readjust the camera and I'll show you one painting I actually did with this combo and how I didn't really adhere to what I just said about being careful with the neutral. So a lot of it is neutralized, but still I think the result is fairly nice. So let me show you that now. So this painting was done with that same primary selection. I used the Legion paper for this one. Highly pleased with it, I have to say, with the paper and how it reacted with the water. The painting itself got really nice feedback. I do think there's a lot to work on here, but generally speaking, it's very good. I think the one thing I would do better next time is, you see here, all of this was muted by using the blue and the burnt sienna. So what I would do next is maybe put more emphasis on red for the roof, and then blue on this part, like this wall. Okay, the water and everything was done with these three only, and you can see you can get a large variety of greens, some blue in the green. The one challenge I've had is to get the green to be really dark, and just like I showed you here right now, you see here it's fairly challenging to make this green dark. So what I would say is perhaps, and I didn't think about it here, you can mix maybe a very dark mixture of burnt sienna and the ultramarine and glaze it over the green to make it darker and give it some shadowy look, which is kind of what's going on here. So anyway, yeah, I hope this combination that's very interesting, to be honest. I hope you will give it a shot. I think it can work really well. By the way, this is a really old sketch for those of you that may remember this. So yeah, I really love this combo, and I think if I'm already showing you, I want to show you also the paintings I did based on Peter Sheeler's tutorials, and I'll give you a link to his channel as well. So let me just zoom in a bit. So this is the first one I did, and I'm really pleased with it. And as I said, he loves to use the yellow ochre here. If you don't know him, he's a fantastic artist. He focuses on mini paintings, and they're just lovely. And with this one, I just closely followed his tutorial, and it's one of the first watercolor artists I discovered when I started out about a year ago. And I have to say that his work is just beautiful and so accessible if you're new. Okay, so you can see there's a lot of the ultramarine here, a lot of yellow ochre. This one was done again with burnt sienna. All the reds you see were done with burnt sienna. The shadows were done using glazing blues. And so you can see how this combination works really well if you're able to separate all of them and not mix them too much. I actually just now realized that this one literally makes use of almost the same palette I just showed you. The only difference is that he does make use of some sepia in here. So for me, I used sepia brown because that's the one I have to get these effects. I don't know if you can get them without it. So it could be an interesting idea to just take the palette, the mixes I just showed you. These, and dropped my brush. Take these and actually add some maybe sepia to maybe get a variety on the yellow ochre. This could be quite nice. So the second one I did is this one, and I'm very pleased with it as well. Again, a lot of the French ultramarine in there, yellow ochre. What else is in here? A bit of burnt sienna on the wall of the house, and as you can see, it's a really straightforward style, a lot of emphasis on the pen work. Just really fun to do and really easy. So again, I'll put a link also in the top right corner and also in the description box below. So anyway, this is it. I think we can wrap up this video, and just I think this is really fun thing to try. Yeah. So friends, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I really hope it inspired you to maybe give a try to these three colors and try to play around with them and mix them together. And even if not that, just to give a try to weird combinations of different primaries and just choosing like two or three, probably three colors and just sticking to them the entire painting. I think it can really lead to an elegant result that's very well connected because you're using the same colors. If you can get a large variety of mixes, that's perfect. You can go with the standard primaries of just regular blue, yellow, and red. I urge you to try actually several of these and find the ones you like, because then you can go out, look at a scene, and be like, for this one, this combination that I tried a week ago will work. Then you're just going with it and you're not imitating reality directly, but you're actually dictating your own reality. You're using your own colors. And it's just a really cool approach to look at a green and just create your own version of that green. And if you aspire to get some more realistic results, I think it's also a good step because it will help you understand what combinations and what primaries lead to these realistic results. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have and you still haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel for more awesome daily videos. You can just watch whatever you like. I do a lot of different things, like this more art things, some more vlog and fun type of things, some outside. So you can definitely just watch the ones that interest you. I actually divided my channel to very well organized playlists. So if you just like one aspect, you can choose a playlist and just run with it. And a lot of them, they're very conclusive. So if you go to the watercolor playlist, you know you get all of the watercolor videos. If you go to the speed drawing or speed painting, you know you get all of them. So I'm really putting an emphasis on this. I think anyone can find something that interests him, and to those of you who take interest in my personal life, I'm really, really flattered and really grateful for it, because it's one aspect of this channel that I really enjoy and I do want to do more of. So yeah, this is it. Also Snapchat and Instagram, which are really fun for some more personal updates, and I will see you again tomorrow.